Hi everyone, this is Christina from Sweet Pea Births. My husband and I teach childbirth classes here in Chandler, Arizona. And today we're going to talk about a question that came up in class on Friday. What's the difference between a real contraction and a Braxton-Hicks contraction? And that's a great question, especially for a first-time mom when you don't know the difference between, a tightening that is practice and how am I going to know if I'm really in labor? So here's one really clear distinction. A Braxton-Hicks contraction is simply for practice. It's not going to change your cervix, whereas a labor contraction is meant to dilate the cervix. So once they start, your cervix continues to dilate progressively until you birth your baby. So what are some other ideas so you can put in your mind and think about how do I know if it's practice or the real deal? When you have a Braxton-Hicks contraction, when you touch your belly, it feels like dough before it, and then when you're having your Braxton-Hicks contraction, all of a sudden it gets really firm and hard, almost like it's really hard to put pressure on it because it hurts. And then when it's over, your belly's going to go back to really doughy and squishy again. And it'll pass, usually 15 to 30 seconds. It's just like, ooh, that got tight, and then it's done. Another way to distinguish between a Braxton-Hicks and real labor is that a Braxton-Hicks contraction will change or stop with your activity level. So if you're sitting and you're having Braxton-Hicks and you stand up, they'll typically go away, or vice versa. If you're standing up and you sit down, put your feet up, have a glass of water, those should go away completely. Whereas with real labor, it doesn't matter what you do, your contractions are going to progress until you have your baby. And the other thing to keep in mind is that if you are having a lot of Braxton-Hicks, sometimes it's a sign to slow down, think about, am I doing too much? Do I need to change my stress level? What do I need to do in order to just calm things down? So they're not a bad thing. They're actually okay because it's kind of your uterus and your baby doing a test drive of the whole system for real labor. Now, when you have real labor contractions, like I said, they're going to be rhythmic. As time progresses, they're going to increase in intensity, duration, and frequency. And it doesn't matter what you do, if you're in real labor, nothing is going to change the progression from intensity, duration, and frequency. And then another thing I want to tell you is that when you have real labor contractions, you can have, this is one of the reasons why we declined vaginal exams in pregnancies, because quite frankly, the cervix can dilate up to 4 centimeters and not do anything else until it's time for real labor. So for me, I know I was just going to obsess over that number and it wasn't going to do me any good. So just know that dilation is a number until it's real labor. Labor contractions progress with a purpose of birthing your baby. So it's not necessarily a bad thing if you're having Braxton-Hicks and your cervix is open a little bit, but just know that it's not going to do anything until real labor starts and it dilates completely to birth your baby. Okay, so we'll see you next week. Have a great week.